You in the mix, rockin' with Kenny. When it comes to news, man, they got plenty. You in the sports mix with Kenny, news and knowledge. A lot of dope techniques make kids become scholars. You need to tune in, a lot of hot topics. When it comes to sports, Kenny sound like a prophet. You in the mix, man, you in the mix. Plus he keep you up on all the hottest trends. Plus you never know who he has as a guest. So grab a cold one, man, and just tune in. You in the mix, man, you in the mix. You in the mix, sports mix. You in the mix, rockin' with Kenny. When it comes to news, man, he got plenty. You in the mix, man, you in the mix. You in the mix, sports mix. You in the mix, you rockin' with Kenny. When it comes to news, man, he got plenty.
What up, y'all? It's the Sports Mix. Big Kenny in the building. Got my guy checking in with me, the Hall of Famer.
Yes, sir.
My brother, how you feeling?
Feel great. I feel like sports right now. Basketball. Let's go.
It's Final Four time in the NBA. You know, you just like me, man. We don't really do a whole lot during the season. A lot of NBA really don't hold our attention too much during the season. Kind of in and out for me. I watch here and there, but the playoffs have not disappointed. You know, the first two rounds was pretty good games. You know, you pretty much had a game on every night for the last through May, April through the first part of May. You know, we getting to the end of May here. Final Four starts tonight. OKC, Minnesota kicking it off. Two of my favorites. Ant and SGA. I'm looking for some fireworks. I want that thing to go 7 games, triple overtime in the 7th game, you know, and it's decided on a last second shot by either SGA or Ant in that series. That's how I want to see that. You know, they two of my favorite players right now. So I just want to see some good ball with them. What you think about that series? So just look at that one right now.
Oh, that's crazy how you say it. Go all the way to 7, about 3 overtimes, and somebody win it at that. I love that. I love that thought. That's crazy.
Yeah, I like.
Wow, I love the whole idea. We got these new fresh teams in the playoffs. I want to hear new stories. I want to hear, new stories, not the old stories, the LeBrons and all. Who didn't make it this year? Who didn't win it this year? I want the fresh guys with the energy. Let's see what they do. And start another legacy in the NBA for a new era of basketball. When you talk about Minnesota and you talk about Oklahoma City, that's a tough pick right now, Kenny. I don't know. I should even make a prediction right now on that. Like you, I just want a competitive series. And, let me take a look at it this first half. Let's take a look at it this first half, and then I have an idea.
You know, in that series, for me, I just because like I say, these two of my favorite young players. It don't even matter who come out on the West for me. I just want to see a great series. You know, I want to see these young boys put on the show and really take on that mantle as you know everybody, they want to have somebody as the face of the league. You know, got to have one guy to be the guy, and you got some candidates. We got some candidates out there for that mantle. I don't necessarily believe you have to have one guy as the face. You know, I mean, we had Bird and Magic in the '80s. You know, you had Mike in the '90s. You know, you had Shaq in the early 2000s. Kobe, LeBron, Steph. You know, so we've had some guys that have filled that cup. Those are just two of them. You know, you still got my guy down there in Memphis, if he can get himself together, he's another one.
Mm-hmm.
It is a plethora of young talent, and this is the thing, that as sports fans, sometimes we get caught up in, because LeBron has been around for so long, because Steph Curry has been around. It's always who's going to be the next one up. Who's going to take on the mantle, or will the league suffer? Once these guys are no longer in the league. You remember going through the whole thing when Jordan was in the league. Who's going to take on the mantle? Who's going to be the next Mike Jordan? And I just don't get caught up in that part of it, man. I think let it play out. The face of the league is going to show up. They're going to be who they're going to be. Who expected Steph Curry to be who he became when he came into the league? You remember he looked like he was about 12 years old when he came in the league. And he could shoot that thing in college, but nobody expected him to be what he became. And he became one of the all-time greats as a player, but clearly one of the best shooter that we've ever seen in the league. And you just got to let it play out and let guys kind of come into their own as a star. You remember a couple of years ago they were trying to put Giannis up there as the face. He had a run, and he's still one of the top players in the league. But let it play out. The face of the league will just kind of make it where it's obvious. We won't even be able to debate it. It's just going to be they're just going to be who they are. But the Western Conference Series is jumping off. Go ahead.
I'm not sure if we're going to get got an echo. I'm not sure if we're going to get a face of the league, Kenny. I think we're going to get faces of the league. The reason I say that, even the Joker and his run and all those MVPs, but he doesn't want the spotlight. He doesn't want the cameras. So you can't be the face of the league if you don't want those cameras in the spotlight. I'm not sure if he's that type of superstar. And then the guys that you just named, whether it's Ant, Morant, these guys, I'm not sure they're ready to take that over and be mature for the next 5 years. Because when you say face of the league, you got to conduct yourself in a certain way off the court as well as on the court.
Right.
So I'm not sure. I think it's going to be a collective thing over the next couple of years. But I sure hope somebody pop out this year, man, whether it's from New York on the East or the West. I just hope somebody pop out and kill it and become a story for the NBA this year so we can watch even during the regular season, not just the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the NBA just got to figure it out, with the how they gonna market the league, how they gonna the TV deal. You got a new TV deal coming into play next year. Me and a friend of mine was talking a couple weeks ago about how when NBC had the NBC, NBC had the NBA deal, they had playoff games like on Sunday afternoons. It kind of, everything wasn't in prime time. Everything wasn't always 8, 9 o'clock games. They played some games early. Even in the later rounds, it wasn't always, when it had 3 or 4 games. Even in the later rounds, you would have earlier games that kind of bring people in. It draws up excitement during the season. The TV package, I think, was a little better once upon a time. I think now, really, because football is really going into February at this point. Football is the king. So, you got people, man, that's really just in football mode really until the Super Bowl is over. Really All-Star break, because I think Super Bowl and All-Star break like a week or 2 apart.
Right.
So you kind of you competing with football in the first half of your season. College basketball is not as big as it once was. Even though the tournament was pretty decent this year, but the overall college basketball is not the college basketball that we grew up on, where it was must-see TV every week type of thing. I'm hopeful. because I'm a basketball fan at heart, man. I'm hopeful that the NBA is able to figure it out and not do, not run people away because they're trying to, you know, don't necessarily try to compete with the NFL because that's a game you're not going to win. Try to figure out your lane and kind of master your lane and just thrive in that. I think that's the key for the NBA at this point. So we'll see what this new the new TV deal in place next year. They bringing out the big dogs to be part of the broadcast. You heard MJ joining the broadcast team up there. So I don't know what his role is going to be, but the fact that they're talking about it now, it's already creating a buzz. That Mike Jordan is going to be on the part of the NBC broadcast team. So, and we talking about next year. We ain't even finished this year yet, and they already talking about Jordan next year.
Yeah, because they're in dire need. They, as you're talking about now, they got to put something in place. Yeah. I mean, it started with me. Even the All-Star game, man, it was horrible. It was horrible.
Trash.
It was horrible. It started with that, and so yeah, they gotta get the wrinkles out, man. They gotta add something to make this more festive for us. Already, our youth does not watch the NBA. Even the ones that want to be NBA players, they don't watch the NBA like we did. So you gotta get that crew. And you got to get guys like us that's been watching for years. They losing us. So I think they fishing, man. So that Michael Jordan thing, I'm not sure how that's going to go with his role, but they just fishing, man. They trying to figure it out.
Yeah. So the West jumping off tonight. The East finals is tomorrow. New York, Indiana.
I can't wait. Oh my goodness.
So
I can't wait.
I
like it all. That's my point, Kenny. I like it. I want all that smoke because for one, it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
It's unpredictable. You don't have that superstar like a LeBron and Kevin Durant. We don't have those stories. So we can't figure it out. Those aficionados can't figure it out. But to see Brunson, he may be losing for 3 quarters. But when that 4th quarter comes, that's when he turned it on. Then you got on the West, you got these young cats just flying on the floor, man. I want all the smoke, Kenny. I'm excited about it all. I'm rooting for the Knicks. I think the Knicks going to pull it out.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna wait to this first half before I say between the Thunder and Minnesota. I'm away. I want to get a feel for it.
Yeah, part of me is pulling for New York.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I'm pulling for the Knicks, but the Pacers are tough. And I slept on them. I didn't see them going as far as they did. And I give my homeboy credit. He had Indiana going to the finals, to the NBA finals. So. Opened my eyes up to him couple back in the second round or the first round. He opened my eyes up in the first round. So, but Indiana's tough, man. And I'm gonna say this about Brunson. When he signed with New York, and CB that comes on the show with us sometime is a New York guy. He's a New York Knicks fan. And I remember telling him, I said, man, I don't know if he's enough. I think the Knicks need him and somebody else to go there with him, to get him over the hump. And man, he proved me wrong. Man, boy, he can boogie, man. He get it done. He get it done. And like you said, he could be non-existent for 2.5, 3 quarters. In that 4th quarter, man, he crank it up. What'd you just say? He want all the smoke. He want all that smoke, man. In that 4th quarter, he want that ball in his hand.
Yeah.
And he gonna make it happen. He gonna make it happen, man. I'm excited. Like you say, the finals, man, Final Four is starting. I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see the NBA these last month and a half of the season here. I'm excited. I'm excited for this.
And there's no drama, Kenny. There's no drama where these teams where you got the three superstars and all that stuff. We don't have that.
Yeah.
We don't have none of that. So we just gonna weigh on talent tonight. I think OKC is the more they got a powerful bench, and I think collectively they're the better team. But Minnesota always show flashes.
Yeah.
And as you said, Indiana probably is the better team, but New York with Brunson in that fourth quarter can pull it through. I love those storylines. Yeah. We're not talking about the big superstar. We're talking collectively. These teams got to put it together to win.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. I think, like you say, this first time in a long time where there's no backstory. There's no, can LeBron win his fourth, or can he win his fifth, or will Steph Curry get the fifth, and will he overtake LeBron? And it's none of that. You got all new guys trying to get their first chip. The stars anyway. All the stars of the teams are trying to get their first chip, man. They're trying to get to that next level. And it's something about winning that championship that's going to take these guys superstardom, to a whole nother level, man. And of course, the wallet's going to change. Wallets will get bigger, but it'll take the recognition. There are people who are going to be watching these games that don't really know about an ant, or don't really know about a SGA. And you talking about New York is the only major market team left in the playoff right now. And we're not talking about Patrick Ewing's New York Knicks, where Patrick Ewing was a household name from college. These are guys that a lot of people probably don't even know who the Knicks are. Brunson is the superstar, but they are a lot of young guys, man, that a lot of people probably wouldn't know unless you watch them all year. So it's gonna change a lot of people's career, just because the name they're gonna be out in front of everybody. People will finally get a chance to see them and see, okay, they can play. They can play. So I'm excited, man. This is the NBA Finals. Well, the Final Four. Let me not jump the gun. Final Four starting tonight, and I know me and you have had this conversation before, just about how we don't even really get into the NBA until this time of year.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, man, the playoffs have not disappointed. There've been some really good games, competitive games. Like I say, not a lot of drama. Them older guys, man, they're all going out with injuries. Steph Curry went out with an injury. LeBron was hurt at the end. So, like I said, it's these new guys, man. It's time. It's time, for the changing of the guard. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
And Kenny, don't forget, and I'm guilty of this. At the beginning of the season, when they made the trade with Randall and the big fella, I thought Minnesota, the Timberwolves were idiots for that trade.
Yeah. And
it's working. Randall is working for the Timberwolves. I didn't see that coming, my man. I didn't see that coming, and it's working out for them, man. And he's really the Robin right now. He's really the Batman.
Yeah, he is.
He's the one that's been pulling them through.
Yep.
But I doubted that trade. I didn't see that. I thought the Knicks got the better of that trade.
Yeah. And even with Cat, there's a lot of people that doubt him in big moments. So this is a real opportunity for him in the conference finals to really prove himself. He was a number one overall pick, if I ain't mistaken, when he came out of Kentucky a few years ago.
And consistent. He ain't consistent.
Yeah, for sure. And there was some questions about him last year when they got put out of the playoff. just about his character. I mean, not character so much, but the ticker. You know, people question the ticker that he really had the heart that it took. You know, to play at that level. So he's had a decent playoff run as well. You know, so the Knicks. I'm pulling for the Knicks. You know, I'm pulling for the Knicks over there in the East. But I think Indiana's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy for them. It's not going to be a cakewalk, and they got to bring their A game to beat them Pacers. They got to bring the A game to knock the Pacers out of this to get to the finals. Definitely for sure. You know. So did the game start yet? I don't have my TV on.
No, it's not on. I got it right in front of me, Kenny. They ain't start yet. They just still up. Yeah. Yeah. You got Ant. He looking like an 18-year-old little boy on here. He ain't even got a mustache. You know what I like? You know what else I like, Kitty?
What's that?
I like the stories also. Remember, and I was wondering why the Lakers let him go. Caruso, his effort, his defense, it stands out, man. He's a team player. Doing the dirty work. Lakers let him go. So it's guys like that I'm watching as well.
You know, I always question some of the moves the Lakers have made, especially with LeBron. You know, some of the people that they have let go in these last few years, or they couldn't work out contracts with. It's kind of, you know, just had me scratching my head sometimes. You know, Caruso, one of them. You know, nuts and bolts type of guy. You know, I'm you know what? I'm gonna hold it because I don't want to get into this LeBron thing. Now I'm gonna save this because he's not in the playoffs. So let me not talk about LeBron. I'm gonna save my LeBron stuff for after the season over with. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait on that. But Caruso and he's been coming up big. He's been coming up big for OKC in these last few games. You know, a guy you don't expect much from. You know, but like you say, he come every night with his hard hat. He gonna play a little defense. He ain't gonna lock nobody down, but he gonna get in the way. He gonna make, you know, he like a little pest. You know, he get out there and get out there and you know, he makes some stuff happen. Miss Michelle, how we doing? So yeah, I'm excited though. You know, I'm excited, man. I'm just looking forward, man. I'm you know, SGA, and I think I told you this last week when I was on your show. When I talked to Ernie Graham, he said SGA is like Skip Wise. You know, I never got to see Skip Wise play like most people. And he said, man, and I asked him, I said, if you could describe Skip, like who right now reminds you of Skip Wise? Without hesitation, he said SGA. SGA. He said their games are like a mirror image of one another. I said, wow, that's tough. Wow. That's tough. Now, I mean, we've heard how tough Skip Wise was, but so SGA and he SGA, man, he got that mid range game. You know, he don't sit behind that 3-point line all day, and he get to that cup. He go aggressive, man. You see, I seen somebody put a reel together with some of his moves and Kobe's moves. Have you seen that one? Have you seen that reel? You haven't seen it? Yeah,
I haven't seen it. Nope.
They got like I say similar to how they did Kobe and Mike with some of the same moves. So it's kind of the same thing they did with Kobe and SGA with some of his moves to the getting into the paint, some of his little head fake, some of his little his footwork. some identical stuff, man. But SGA right now, he getting it done. You know, and on the other hand, if he go to that cup, man, you better get out the way. You know, watch out below. He coming in there with bad intentions. You know, he coming in there with bad intentions. And like you said, big fella is playing pretty much lights out right now for Minnesota. What's his name? I can't think his name right quick. I'm getting old, Glenny.
For Randall.
Yeah, Julius Randle. He playing pretty good, man. Lights out. He being aggressive. He knock a three down when he have to. You know, he make plays when he need to. But I wish CB was here. You know, we had a thing with Rudy Gobert. He was a Sports Mix favorite a couple years ago. He has the ability to affect games if he would be just a little bit more assertive on offense. And I think part of that problem, and I heard one of the commentators say it in one of the games, is they're not putting the ball in a place for him where he can just get right to the basket. They got him catching passes at his waist. He need to be getting it right here and right to the rim. Take all of the, take anything extra out of it for him, because if he got to do anything more than here to here, it's like 50-50. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he could be right under the basket. And he just don't seem to be able to just get it to the rim. He's not catching it above his shoulder. So they got to really just get him the ball where he can be effective, so that he can have the game. Because he had one game in the conference semis. It might have been the first round. I think it was the first round where he was like 27 points. He was real dominant one game. But it's just a matter of really just getting him the ball where he can do something with it, where he don't have to do a lot to score. Just kind of get it to him where he can just put it right in the basket and get back. He's not gonna make free throws. He's a horrible free throw shooter, so I want him to be able to get it, flush it, and get back down court. Block shots, go block shots, get in the way.
He can, in this series that you say that, Kenny, he could create and carve out a new legacy for himself in this playoff run and championship, considering he's been the defensive player of the year, at least 3 times.
Yeah.
So if he just do, like you said, a little bit more offensively, it'll take them to another level. And so he got to step up. The one thing I also noticed is that we really don't have any high maintenance players. We don't have any high maintenance players on these teams. It's no high maintenance players, man. And then lastly, I wanted to say, you mentioned him getting the ball in the right spot. I think Conley will be significant as well. His veteran play, and I'm happy for him. He's one guy I'm happy for that's there. All the years he's played, he's taken pay cuts. He's done everything to be in this position. Now he's in it. I want to see Mike Conley, man, step up, and that point guard style, like you said, get a big fella the ball, and just that veteran savvy way about himself. I think he'll be a big plus for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, that's a great point. Somebody with a little veteran savvy, he kind of understand his personnel. Just put him in positions where he can be successful. Don't make him have to do too much. You don't want him catch the ball and have to think what he need to do with it. You want him to get it, hit, boom, right to the rim every time. And again, you can make or break somebody if you don't know how to utilize them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's somebody that you don't want him doing a whole lot. Just hey, catch, put that thing in the basket, get back down on the other end and block some shots and get some rebounds. That's it. That's his game.
But Kenny, that's a lost skill. That what you're talking about is literally a lost skill. They don't point guards don't do that anymore. They go and shoot the three.
Yeah, they shooting it.
They don't give it to the big fella. They ain't giving it to the big fella like that.
Yeah, you're right. Well, it ain't many big fellas in the game no more. So there's that. Because all the big guys out on the wing, they shooting threes now. So but we definitely don't want to see him out there. Definitely don't want him out there shooting.
Well, Cat gonna be out there.
Out there jacking threes. And you just got to live with that. But it's because I was watching one of these games. I can't remember which one, but I'm like, it's tough for me because I was a post player, to see that they don't utilize it, even when they got mismatches. And you saw, did you notice Sunday when they put Caruso on the Joker? They kept lining Joker up at the foul line. He got the little guy on him, and he really taking your advantage away from you. Put him on the block. You got the little guy on you. Take him to the block where he can't do nothing with you down there. And they kept on him, and he catching the ball at the foul line, and he trying to maneuver. He can't, and Shorty was making him work. It really took him out of the game. Really made him ineffective to where he couldn't play his style of game. But it's like, basketball 101. Lenny, you know what I'm saying? You a big body guy. You got a little 5'5" guy on you. Where you going? Where you taking him at?
Taking him down low. Yeah.
I mean, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Mouse in the house. Take them from the block, man, and make them put somebody else on you. Make them make the adjustment. You know what I'm saying? And Denver didn't make that adjustment. They just kept sending Joker to the free throw line and letting them post up at the high post. And he wasn't able to really get his game going Sunday. And they got blown out in the meantime, got blown out. Gone fish.
Now they're about to tip off, but going back to Caruso, when you're talking about that old school guy, think of all those championship teams in the past, i.e. Rodman, i.e. Michael Cooper, i.e. Joe Dumars, i.e. all those guys that helped those championships all these years. Caruso can make a big difference. I'm gonna go ahead and say that now. When he come off the bench, keep an eye on him and who he match up with, and just consider what I say right now. That's a benchmark. Caruso can make a big difference defensively, and wearing that hard hat throughout these playoffs, he might be that top player to get them through. Yeah. Because Timberwolves are streaky. But if you got a guy like Caruso that's ready to challenge that, it can slow Minnesota down. Keep that in mind.
That's a good assessment. I like it. I like it, and I would agree. Because it's always a guy like that end up being the X factor anyway.
He's the X factor. That's right.
A guy we're not really expecting, because we're gonna look at the names. We're gonna look at the names we know.
Yeah.
And a guy like him could sneak in there and really have an effect on the whole series, especially if he get it going. You know what I'm saying? And usually he can have.
So Caruso the X factor. And Rudy, and your guy, what you said, Rudy could be an X factor.
Yep.
Rudy, like you said, and Caruso, I believe.
Yep, absolutely. For sure, Rudy can need to be a little more active. I think I'm going to lose some juice.
You got the game on?
No, I don't even have it on because I'm in
OKC crowd. OKC crowd rough, boy. But Minnesota putting it to them so far.
Yeah, I'm having some technical difficulties.
Oh, Kenny. Your X Factor going to work.
That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. I don't know. I'm looking like I'm having some technical. But we're gonna keep going. So I'm gonna change the subject right quick before we lose Reese. Got some issues. So Caitlyn and Angel got some beef again. I don't necessarily think it's them beefing. I think it's more hype than actual beef between the two of them. But did you catch the game Saturday?
And of course, I saw highlights.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just a regular, basketball play, really.
It was. I was watching the game. I was watching it when it happened. I didn't think it was nothing over the top. I don't think it was over the top. I didn't have an issue with Angel's reaction to it. I didn't have any reaction to it. You get fouled hard in a game. And I think the fact that it was who it was that did it, which was, I think that's what brought the reaction out, that she turned, and it was Caitlyn that did it. I think what people were missing with those two, this rivalry that they have is going to be something for the next 10 years. And it's going to be on and off the court. It's not even just a basketball thing. They're going to be competing for endorsement money. They're going to be competing in every aspect of their lives. You then throw in the racial aspect of it. It's unfortunate that it comes to that, but this is who we are. You know what I'm saying? This is America. Let's never lose sight of America and how Americans get down, right?
Yeah.
Some people need that racial aspect to kind of to root on somebody. So you got a lot of people that are not basketball fans that are Caitlin Clark fans simply because she's a young white lady from the Midwest. Have nothing to do with her basketball ability or none of that. She's a good ball player, and we like her because she looks like us. And we're gonna not like the other girl. And Caitlyn is a competitor. You know what I'm saying? She got a little dog in her. She not out there being nice with nobody. She out there trying to get it. She trying to win. She talking. You know what I'm saying? She talking a little stuff. She's physical. You know what I mean? She gonna give you the hard foul if she have to, because she trying to win. She's a competitor. So I respect it. I respect it, and I don't have no problems with the foul. I didn't have a problem with the reaction, but we tend to get more reaction from people looking to get some clicks, like your boy RG3. Did you see his commentary?
I did, but I could.
If I'm losing you. I don't know if I lost Glenn. He froze up. He froze up on me. I think we all froze up. I don't know. I'm gonna keep going. But yeah, he RG3 had some comments. You still there?
Now I can hear you.
Yeah, you froze up for a minute. But yeah, RG3 made a little video, him and his wife. Well, she was in the background. She was kind of like a prop in the background there. And he
Yeah.
was going off. He was going off about how Angel hates Caitlyn, and he could tell by the expression on her face. And he went back to something she said a year ago, you know, and he throwing all this stuff. And his wife back there, she back there high fiving and cheerleading everything he say, and he making his points. And then Ryan Clark tore his ass up. Ryan Clark came at him yesterday. I think his video came out yesterday morning. He didn't even wait, man. He came out and tore RG3 up. And then RG3, of course, took offense. Came back. He felt a little offended because because Ryan Clark, mentioned his wife, who you brought into the situation by having her in the background as you were talking about Angel. So you introduced your wife into the story, and then Ryan Clark, he said what he said. I don't think he said nothing disparaging about his wife. He didn't say anything negative about his wife. He just, hey, you made her part of the story, so she's gonna be part of my rebuttal. And so, you're gonna have that little back and forth is gonna go on. I think at some point, either RG3 is gonna end up on the show with Ryan Clark and them guys.
Sure.
They'll be on ESPN back and forth. They'll meet up somewhere and they'll talk it out. But Ryan Clark always holds it on. I've never seen him really back off of nothing he said about anybody. He holds his own and he's pretty well spoken. And I got a lot of respect for Ryan Clark and what he brings to the podcast arena, especially as an ex-athlete. He's pretty much killing the game right now.
Right.
But yeah, that little drama with Angel and Caitlyn, not a whole lot of nothing if you ask me. But I think, man, it's always going to be something because of who it is. It's those two. And we're going to be able to look at them at 10 years from now and say, they were to the WNBA what Magic and Bird were to the NBA. From a standpoint of the rivalry, putting the eyes back on the game, growing the sport, getting women some money, getting them paid. So I like it. I like their rivalry. I wish they were both on like one was in the West Coast, one was on the East, so that we could have a meet in the finals. But they both East Conference teams, so but they're gonna battle for the next 10 years or so. And I think I don't see them being best of friends ever. I like the chippiness. As a matter of fact, we need more of that in sport. We become too friendly. Everybody in love with everybody. Everybody working out together, and no real rivalry, no real hatred. And nobody hating the guy in the other uniform no more. Everybody want to be, kumbaya, and we got to all get along. Nah, man, we get along when we retire. When it's over. Let's go ahead and be competitive, man.
Yeah, I think I just hope it's that though, a rivalry where they got to be on those winning teams. They got to back up what they talk. They talk, and make sure they there when they count, along with this stuff that's going on. So I'm not sure of the standings. I think Caitlyn team is doing much better than Angel's team, right?
But this is the first weekend.
The standings last year. Who was the better team last year?
Yeah, Indiana was a better team last year.
So that, to me, when you talk about Magic and you talk about Bird, what made them fascinating is that they were winning. They were winning.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm hoping with their rivalry, what makes it a rivalry is that they beating on each other. So I think Caitlyn may have the better team now. I'm just hoping that that Angel, they're there. Angel is there at the end where they compete in the playoffs. That'd be on another level. That'd be on another level.
Yeah. And the thing about Angel is she play a position where she's dependent on people kind of getting her involved offensively.
Right.
She don't affect the game offensively the same way that Caitlin had, because she got the ball in her hand.
Right.
So she can affect the outcome of a game offensively a lot more than Angel can. Angel will affect the game defensively and on the board.
Mm-hmm.
That's where her bread and butter is. And she's worked on her game. She's still struggling a little bit, making layups, but she added 3-point shot to her repertoire. She hit a couple threes Saturday. So again, she's somebody who is going to have to expand her game to kind of get to that level offensively. I think she already does enough to affect the game with her defense and with her rebounding.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't slight her abilities in any way because she's not an offensive player like a Caitlin Clark is. She, and a lot of times people look at numbers. We always look at the scoring numbers and don't really account for how a player like Angel can affect the game. You know what I'm saying? Just her presence. Angel is tall. She definitely somebody. If you come into the basket and she's there, you're gonna think about it. Because she can get to your shot, she can block shots. She definitely is a presence on the board. So she's somebody that you are aware of. When you going against her. And she got the dog in her. She's not afraid of you. She's not afraid of nobody. She's going to be competitive.
Yep.
So she just, the rest of her game just got to catch up. Because she bring the fire, she bring the energy. The rest of her game has got to catch up. And I'm not one that don't think that she can't do it.
Right.
I think, and then really again, it's a matter of putting the right pieces around Angel.
Right.
Just because of how she plays, she needs the right type of people around her.
She does. That's right.
To be successful. But I think that will happen. And then the one thing about pro sports is, the organization you go to can make or break any athlete. Because you can go to you can be a great athlete, a great player, and you go to an organization that's terribly run, that don't know how to really bring personnel in. It can stunt you. It can stunt a player. It can stunt players' growth. So I'm hopeful that the Chicago organization up there kind of figures out if Angel's somebody they're going to build around, that they put the right type pieces around her and see if they can build something up there.
Yeah, I think that's the key. They got to do that.
Yep. So
right now, Minnesota taking them to it.
Just
to give you an update, Minnesota, they're looking pretty good right now. Randall's stepping up.
First quarter still?
Yeah, 16-13. Still 5 minutes in the first quarter.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because I'm gonna get to that game. I'm gonna get to watch this game. And I'm having some technical difficulties over here. It look like I'm trying to brush through it. I don't want to leave nothing on the table before we wrap up. So I'm gonna go about another 10 minutes. That'll give us an hour, and then we get up out of here and go watch this game, and then we'll chop it up. But it's some things too. The NFL draft was a couple weeks ago. We big Coach Prime guys over here on this show. We talked a lot about Coach Prime and Colorado, and of course Shadeur Sanders. That debacle, that whole NFL draft process for him. I think we spoke briefly on it. I think it was a disaster. I think it was unfortunate that they made the young man wait till the 5th round He clearly is not a 5th-round pick. He's not a 5th-round talent. What's your thoughts on just how that whole thing played out for Shadeur Sanders?
You know, I'm a spiritual guy, and I think all things work out for the good. I think he's in a perfect situation, man. I know he ain't getting that upfront money the way he expected, and being that 1st-round pick. But like you said with the basketball, sometimes it matters what team you get drafted to or picked up by. And I think Cleveland is perfect for him because he still have to compete. They drafted a quarterback before him. But one key element, let's not look over. He gets to watch a Super Bowl quarterback in his preparation as well. Certainly is an old quarterback, but he's been there, done that. And the savvy that he has, his reads, and the way he throw that football, you can't take that away from Flacco. I think that's a key element for Shadeur in his maturation, to have a veteran in that locker room and that he's preparing with. He clearly, considering minicamp, gelling with the team, it looked like he fits right in. It doesn't look like he's over here and the rest of the team over here. He's right in the middle with the team. That's a key, Kenny. He just got to earn his respect and just play ball now. And I like it. I'm not disappointed that he didn't get drafted. I think it's a wake-up call for him as well. That now, probably made him more humble. Look, I got to go to work, and that's the bottom line. And he said it. He got to go to work. And I love the idea he's with Cleveland. Really no high expectations per se. So anything, when he get in that game, anything that's good or above average for them is going to be great. And it'll give him an opportunity to make a big impact early on. I like it, Kenny. I like it.
Yeah, and with Cleveland, their biggest hole have been that quarterback position over the last couple of years. They made a run a couple of years ago when Flacco was the quarterback. He came in and got them to the playoffs, and he was looking pretty good until he got to the playoffs. And just kind of stumbled in the playoffs. But Flacco is a solid NFL veteran quarterback. Who Joe Flacco is who he is at this point in his career. He's not going to come in there and do anything that he's incapable of doing at this point. I believe he's the front runner to be the starting quarterback. Once the season starts, I believe it's going to be Flacco. I believe Deshaun Watson will be up out of there.
But I think Flacco 5 games, Kenny, and then Shadeur. 5 games.
5 games. All right. Well, hey, we're gonna
I think Flacco gonna start 5 games.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like 3-2, and Cleveland gonna say, "What we got to lose?" and push Shadeur in that game.
Yeah, let's go. Well, and I'm.
What do you think? I want to hear.
I think with Flacco, it's going to be a matter of is he healthy? If he's healthy, and if they are above 500, they'll ride him out. They'll ride it out with him. But
look what division he in, Kenny.
Well, it's
I
2
don't think
games
they're going to win.
It's 2 games already they're going to lose. I already know that. They when they play these Baltimore boys, they're going to lose those 2. I already know that.
Right.
I'm not even sure what Pittsburgh is doing with their quarterback.
Oh,
I thought for sure they would have took a look at Shadeur Sanders too. I thought for sure they would have took a look at him. But I mean, who is the quarterback in Pittsburgh right now?
Randolph.
Mason Rudolph?
It's going to be Aaron Rodgers. They're going to bring Aaron Rodgers in. Rudolph the Red. I don't know his name.
Oh goodness. Yeah, well, and I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan. I'm not.
Really?
No, no. I mean, I don't take nothing away from him. I'm not one of them guys that say he not good. I'm not that foolish. I'm not that foolish. But I think Aaron Rodgers is a guy that, like, we hear all this talk about Lamar Jackson and what he can't do in the playoffs. That's Aaron Rodgers to beat. Aaron Rodgers has been a no-show in the playoffs for the majority of his career. He got one Super Bowl. He was able to get the one, which is really all you need, one. But for the most part, and Green Bay's had some pretty solid teams. And Aaron Rodgers has came up short in the playoffs an awful lot. And he going into year, what, like 16, 17? So he's been around for a minute. Now we know he going to light it up. He going to put the numbers up, and he one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the history of the game, all that stuff. But we at the point now, we looking at that playoff resume, and I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. And the Steelers don't scare me. You know what I mean? I'm not afraid of the Steelers at all.
Okay.
At all. So I'm, and he called me call me what you want. I'm Baltimore, but I'm a realist too, because when we were bad, I would say we were bad. But hey, we gonna be all right. We gonna be all right here in Baltimore, man.
So let me ask you this: your expectation was that Flacco gonna start the season and end the season? You think they're gonna be that good where that's gonna happen?
No. I ain't saying that. I'm just saying I think he's gonna start as long as they win it.
Okay.
I think he'll start. It's the same way his career ended here. When it was kind of looking like the Ravens kind of we're not gonna make the playoffs anyway. Go ahead and stick Lamar in there and see what we got. I think it's gonna play out like that in Cleveland. I think it's gonna play out like that. Now, but they got some decisions to make in their quarterback, because you drafted two quarterbacks, you signed two quarterbacks, and you still had Deshaun Watson under contract. And I'm sure Deshaun Watson gonna be out of there, or is his injury still where he wants?
Yeah, he's done. He's done for this year. So the other quarterback, even when you look at him in the minicamp, I mean, Shadeur looked like 2 levels above him already. I mean, just the movement and all. And so I think it's going to be sooner than what you think, Kenny. And I want to document it on your show right now. 5 games in, Shadeur will be starting in the 6th game.
All right, it's noted. On May the 20th, it was said.
Yeah,
it was said. The Hall of Famer said it. Hall of Famer said it.
Yeah, man.
Be in at week 6. He'll be the starting quarterback in week 6. I wonder who they play week 6.
Yeah,
I don't have the schedule in front of me. I ain't ready to dig into that yet. I ain't one of them guys that be looking at the schedule going down in June talking about wins and losses. You know my motto with the Ravens. I can tell you at about the 4th week how I feel. I need the first four weeks of the season before I start making predictions. Because we know the starter's not gonna play a down in the preseason. They're not gonna get no run in the preseason. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm ready. I'm ready. Football is 24/7 now. Football is 24/7. So before we get up out of here, any parting words, anything you want to plug, anything you got going on your platforms?
Well, I think that we talked about from seeing Minnesota. I think OKC is a stronger team, but Minnesota looks sharp, man. I know they. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna keep my eye on Kenny. I ain't gonna talk to you. too fast. I'm sorry. But Minnesota looked good. I thought OKC would dominate them, and they're not. And but like you said, Randall got to play well, and Rudy got to play well, and I think they could take this. What else you talked about? You talked about Shadeur. I made my prediction. Shadeur will be starting by 6th game, and I'm just hoping that Angel and Caitlin will end up, team-wise, their record-wise, where they can match in the playoffs. That's going to be epic. Yeah. As far as me is concerned, I'm working on for Cool Convos. I'm working on 3 prominent old school guests, and I'm working on it right now. And I got somebody working on it. If I get that show, that's going to be a unique show because it's not going to be for everybody because it's going to be in Baltimore basketball history. Yeah. But I'm working on it, man, and it's going to be nice. It's going to educate us if I get that together. Other than that, I'm just ready to see some more playoffs, man.
Yeah, and if I encourage people, man, to check you out. I've been part of your platform a couple times, couple shows, man. With Dante Bright and Dana Johnson, I was able to be part of that, and then the last one with Damon Kayson and Kevin Simpson. Two great shows, and the show you did with Kenny McNeil and my guy
Ben Harley,
Lee Clifton. Another solid show, man. I just want to give you props on
much
those
love,
shows, man. They were very informative shows, man. I learned some things about some of them guys, and guys that I watched, play over the years. Kind of in my wheelhouse. Kenny and Ben Harley we kind of were in high school at the same time, so I didn't really get to see them too much. But Kayson and Kevin Simpson for sure, Dante Bright, Dana Johnson for sure I got to see. And like I told you, man, it's in them 90s, it was 3 players that from my first time seeing them, I knew they was the good. Bright, Kevin Simpson, and Mark Karcher. The very first time I saw all 3 of them guys, and Bright, and all 3 of them, I heard about them before I seen them. So you got the little hype. You hear people talking about this one, this one. But when I could put eyes on all 3 of them, all 3 of them was like, okay, yeah, they're a little different. They're a little different, man. Yeah. So the interviews you had with the 2, with Bright and Kevin Simpson, man, was very interesting. Learned some things about both of them that I didn't know. But it was just good to see him in that light, and really getting their props. It's crazy. I suppose I had Dante on my show a while ago, man. We had the show lined up and everything, and we couldn't get it. We had some technical difficulties that night, and I had to postpone it, man. We just haven't rescheduled it. But I'm gonna reach out to him, man, and get him back on here, and chop it up with my
man. Guy. You got it. You or me got to get Mark Karcher, one of us, man. Somebody got to work that out.
Yeah, we got to reach out for sure.
Somebody got to get him, and I got another special one up my sleeve. I don't want to talk too fast, but I got a real special one up my sleeve too.
Okay.
But I'm working on it now. I got a good phone call today, so I'm hoping that'll work out.
Really, off air, we need to sit down and talk, and really do some stuff with this. The Baltimore basketball stuff. I just my brain been churning. I said, man, I need to sit down and talk to my guy. Maybe we can pull some stuff together and put some real stuff together, man. But I definitely, looking forward to the interviews you bring on, the people that you've been bringing up, and just the way that you engage them, and the fact that you're able to bring people on as well to kind of give them flowers, man. I definitely appreciate that.
You got to get Cove on too.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I'm kidding.
For sure.
He know the history, man. He more of a history buff, basketball wise, as far as Baltimore. You got to get him on there and pick his brain. Plus, he coached a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
And their children. So you got to get Cove on, man.
For sure. So let's in the next couple of weeks, man, cut out some time and we'll sit down and chop it up and
Okay.
you know, pull some stuff together. I'm gonna be out of town next week for
Okay.
work, so I won't have a show next week. I'll be out of town, but when I come back, I'll be looking to do some stuff and kind of, by then hopefully we'll get a good read on what the NBA Finals might be looking like by the time I come back on air, and we'll do some stuff with that. So man, I appreciate you coming on with me tonight. What's the score up there? I'm ready to get it locked in.
Oh man, it just went to commercial. Go ahead and jump and check that out, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check the rest of this game out. But I definitely appreciate you coming on with me tonight. We definitely gonna lock in, man, and get into these finals. And it won't be long. We'll be back in Ravens mode. So
let's go.
Let's get it. So always a pleasure, my brother. Enjoy the rest of the game, and we'll talk.
You got it, man. All right, Kenny.
All right, peace, brother.
Lamar Jimmy.
Hey, brother, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm just stepping off the podcast.